Welcome to the News and Books channel. I'm your host, Eric. Today's episode takes us to Sacramento, California, where a tragic air medical helicopter crash has left a community grieving. One of the victims, Suzie Smith, a dedicated flight nurse, has passed away. A loss deeply felt by those who knew her, and by everyone who depends on air medical rescue services. Joining me is Dr. Olivia Barnes, an aviation medicine expert and air safety specialist, to help us understand what might have happened and what lessons we can draw from this heartbreaking event. Dr. Barnes, this story really hit hard. For those who may not have followed closely, what exactly happened on that Monday night?
Yes, Eric. Around 7:30 p.m., a Reach Air Medical Services helicopter, operating out of Redding, was en route when it crashed onto Highway 50 near Sacramento. On board were 3 crew members: pilot Chad Millward, flight paramedic Margaret Davis, and flight nurse Suzie Smith. Initial reports suggest there was no patient on board, which is fortunate in itself, but tragic nonetheless for the crew. The NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, has launched an investigation to determine the exact cause.
Right, and Suzie passed away just a few days later at UC Davis Medical Center. What makes this particularly emotional is how committed air medics are. They often risk their lives to save others. Let's talk about the nature of these flights. Why are medical helicopters so vulnerable to crashes?
That's a good question. Air medical operations are among the most dangerous types of flying, often conducted at night, in poor visibility, over challenging terrain, and under time pressure. Unlike commercial flights, these missions rarely have the luxury of ideal conditions. Many involve low-altitude flying and frequent takeoffs and landings at unprepared sites, hospital rooftops, highways, rural roads.
So even with modern equipment, there's always that element of unpredictability.
Exactly, and the pilots are under tremendous mental and physical stress. Every second counts. But fatigue, bad weather, or mechanical faults can be catastrophic.
The NTSB has already recovered the flight recorders, the black boxes. What will investigators look for?
They'll analyze engine performance, altitude data, and cockpit communication. The goal is to see if it was a mechanical failure, pilot error, or environmental factor like wind shear or bird strike. This isn't the first air medical crash in the U.S. In fact, the NTSB has long raised concerns about safety gaps in air ambulance operations. Between 1998 and 2008, over 60 crashes killed more than 100 people. That's why new regulations were later introduced, including terrain awareness systems, night vision equipment, and stricter weather minimums.
Suzie Smith's colleagues describe her as fearless and compassionate. She'd been with Reach Air for over 12 years, right?
Yes, Suzie was a veteran nurse who'd worked both in hospitals and in the air. She was known for mentoring young paramedics and volunteering in community outreach programs.
Her passing is a painful reminder that those saving lives from the skies also put their own lives on the line every day. Whenever tragedies like this happen, people online start speculating. Was it maintenance oversight, cost cutting, or something else? Any truth to those concerns?
There's always speculation, but the reality is more complex. Most air medical providers, including Reach, operate under strict FAA oversight. However, there are industry-wide concerns about aging fleets, pilot shortages, and financial strain from rising insurance costs. Some insiders argue that smaller operators sometimes stretch maintenance schedules, not out of negligence but financial pressure. That's why aviation safety experts are pushing for federal funding support and standardized safety systems across all air ambulance services.
That's a valid point, because when you cut corners in aviation, consequences can be devastating. As we wrap up, Dr. Barnes, what should we take away from this incident?
First, that air medical flight crews are unsung heroes. They face danger every shift. Second, that safety in aviation is never finished. It requires constant vigilance, training, and investment. And finally, every tragedy teaches us something. If Suzie's story leads to one more life saved, one more safety upgrade, then her legacy continues.
Beautifully said. Our hearts go out to Suzie Smith's family, to Chad and Margaret as they recover, and to everyone in the Reach Air medical community. Thank you, Dr. Barnes, for helping us unpack this with empathy and depth. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on the News and Books channel. Don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts, and honor those who keep us safe, both in the air and on the ground. Until next time, I'm Eric, reminding you, behind every headline is a human story worth remembering.